Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're just going to skip our usual agenda entirely because I want to plunge you straight into one of the most fascinating, mysterious, and downright unbelievable hidden worlds on Earth. We're leaving the sunlight behind and heading deep, deep underground.
You know, when you think of Paris, you probably picture romantic, sunlit streets, right? Or maybe the Eiffel Tower. But imagine walking those cobblestones, completely unaware that directly beneath your feet lies this massive, dark, and eerily silent labyrinth. It's a sprawling, subterranean universe that stretches for hundreds of miles, completely unseen by the millions of people walking right above it.
Okay, let's dive into this because this is where the story gets incredibly strange. In 2004, the Parisian police's special sports squad was doing a training exercise deep in these uncharted tunnels underneath the chic's 16th arrondissement. Suddenly, they hit this tarpaulin sign saying, "Building site no access." Behind it, a CCTV camera and a mechanism that played a recording of barking dogs just to scare them off. When they pushed past that, they found a massive 400-square-meter cavern carved right into terraces. It had a full-size cinema screen, a professional electrical system, a well-stocked bar, 3 phone lines, and, get this, even a pressure cooker for making couscous? I mean, what?
The police were absolutely baffled. Who built this thing? How did they even get all this equipment down there? 3 days later, the authorities went back with electricity board experts to trace the power source. But the cinema had been entirely dismantled, the power and phone lines were cut, and sitting in the middle of the empty floor was a single note that just read, "Do not try to find us."
Part 1. The Exploding Cemeteries. The Gruesome Origins. So, to understand how an entire secret cinema could exist unnoticed, we kinda have to rewind time. Why does this vast subterranean void even exist in the first place? Well, the story actually starts way back with the ancient Romans and really accelerates in the 12th century. See, Paris was literally built from its own bedrock. Miners dug massive underground quarries to extract the limestone used to build masterpieces like the Louvre and Notre Dame. But as the city grew above ground, it faced a massive public health disaster. By 1780, a prolonged period of spring rain caused a retaining wall at Les Innocents Cemetery to collapse, literally spilling rotting corpses right into the basements of neighboring houses. The sensory nightmare of this era is almost unimaginable. Les Innocents was the city's oldest and largest cemetery, and it was so overstuffed that graves were dug 10 meters deep. We're talking up to 1,500 bodies from different eras piled into single mass graves. The stench of decomposing flesh was so overwhelming that local perfume stores actually went out of business, and it was said the foul air even soured milk in nearby homes. The city urgently needed a radical solution.
Part 2. Creating the Empire of Death. Quarries to ossuary. So, the crucial point here is that faced with a crisis on the surface and this enormous empty void beneath the city, the government decided to just marry the two problems. And the sheer, staggering scale of this operation is honestly hard to overstate. Over a period stretching across decades, the city relocated the skeletal remains of between 6 and 7 million Parisians into the tunnels. To put that into perspective, that is literally more dead bodies buried underground than there are living people walking around in Paris today. No way, right? Beginning in 1786, the city kicked off this grim, highly orchestrated procession. For 15 straight months, nightly convoys of carts draped in black cloth transported the remains through the streets of Paris. Guided by torchlight and accompanied by chanting priests, the bones were dropped 20 meters underground, right into those abandoned quarry shafts.
But they didn't just dump the bones and leave. Inspector General Heracart de Thury designed the site with this incredibly macabre, highly theatrical vision. He created what are called hogs. Basically, these are meticulously stacked decorative walls made of long bones, like femurs, and skulls. They act as a beautiful, albeit creepy facade, hiding the chaotic, messy piles of millions of other remains just behind them.
And Thury didn't stop at interior decorating. As visitors cross the threshold into the ossuary, they're greeted by a haunting inscription carved into the stone right above the doorway. Stop. This is the Empire of Death. It really sets a deeply philosophical and chilling tone, ensuring that anyone who enters treats the space with awe and absolute respect.
Part 3. The Official Tourist Zone. The Known Catacombs. Because of Thury's incredible design, this ossuary quickly became an absolute sensation, and today it attracts 500,000 thrill-seeking tourists every single year. And this brilliantly illustrates something really cool. The moment you descend those 130 steps, a physical chill actually hits you. The tunnels maintain a constant temperature of 14 degrees Celsius, or about 57 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. It's this exact, unchanging subterranean climate that helps preserve the millions of bones resting inside.
But to truly understand the Paris catacombs, we have to look at the scale of things. The official museum route is tiny. It's just 1.5 to 2 kilometers long, fully lit, and totally secured. But beyond those gates lies the Forbidden Network, an abyss stretching over 280 kilometers. It's completely pitch black, highly dangerous, and entirely illegal to enter, carrying a fine of 135 euros if you're caught by the Special Police Brigade.
Part 4. The Forbidden Tunnels. Paris's underground culture.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because what exactly happens in those 280 kilometers of forbidden darkness? Well, enter the cataphiles. This is a passionate, secretive subculture of urban explorers who treat this massive underground labyrinth as their own parallel universe. It's a tight-knit community of young Parisians, historians, and thrill-seekers who regularly just pop open manhole covers in the dead of night to vanish beneath the city streets.
Now, we need to be very clear here. We are absolutely not glorifying this. Exploring the forbidden tunnels is illegal for very good reason. The risks are severe and potentially fatal. Explorers face what are called fontis, which are these sudden bell-shaped cave-ins from the ancient stone. There's sudden flooding, pockets of toxic air, and absolutely zero cell phone service. If you get lost, and trust me, without a map, you can get disoriented in minutes, no one is coming to save you.
Yet, despite these extreme, life-threatening dangers, the allure is just so powerful. Think about how heavily monitored modern cities are today. Down here, there's absolute personal freedom. As Elena, a 20-year-old cataphile, puts it, there are no rules. I can walk around in my bra if I want and no one cares. The isolation provides an absolute, unrestrained personal freedom that you simply cannot find up on the surface. Because of this freedom, a surprisingly warm and highly social atmosphere thrives in the pitch black. Cataphiles aren't just crawling around in the mud. They're hosting secret birthday parties, live rock concerts, and even fondue and raclette dinners down there. There's even a tradition called catasprints, which are these high-speed navigation races through the terrifyingly dark tunnels. It's literally a vibrant society living right beneath the feet of everyday Parisians.
Now you might be wondering how this doesn't all fall apart. Well, to keep this underground society functioning safely, cataphiles follow a strict set of unwritten rules. Number 1, you must always enter with a reliable guide. Number 2, use highly detailed handmade maps that the community constantly updates. Crucially, you must leave no trace, carry out your trash, and show absolute respect for the historical bones. Finally, they fiercely protect their secrecy. They totally ban YouTubers and journalists who might expose their hidden entrances for viral fame, because, that inevitably leads to the police sealing the tunnels.
Now, what's really interesting here is how this subculture has evolved. Remember that secret cinema we started with? That was built by a sophisticated splinter group of cataphiles called Les UX, or the Urban Experiment. They aren't just partygoers. They see themselves as rogue caretakers of Paris's neglected heritage. Beyond the cinema, a faction of the UX actually secretly infiltrated the Pantheon monument for a whole year to repair its antique clock, which had been broken since the 1960s. Talk about going above and beyond.
This quote from Claire perfectly captures the magic of this descent. I love life underground. It's another layer to Paris. It makes the city more interesting. The catacombs offer an unseen dimension to a city that everyone thinks they already know. It's a living, breathing paradox, really. A place of death that has somehow spawned a vibrant, rebellious, and deeply passionate underground culture.
But as you can imagine, this hidden world is incredibly fragile. Today, city authorities are actively pouring concrete into tunnels, sealing entrances, and flooding sections just to stabilize the streets above. The cataphile playgrounds are shrinking, which leaves us with a final, provocative thought. As the modern world forces its way down, filling the voids with concrete, will the secret underground empire eventually vanish into urban legend? It really makes you look at your own city differently, wondering what hidden histories and secret worlds are hiding right beneath your own feet. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.